Hi, I'm Leon Lovelace, and this is Unstoppable Force. Coming to do a news story from the Raleigh News and Observer about the North Carolina Senate voting down the repeal of House Bill 2. Okay, the North Carolina Senate voted down a repeal of House Bill 2 Wednesday after a day of increasingly partisan rancor that pitted conservative Republicans against a Charlotte they so distrust. The State House adjourned without voting on a repeal of the bill that cost North Carolina millions of dollars in lost jobs, sports events, and boycotts. With that, hope of compromise between legislators in Charlotte, which enacted the ordinance that gave rise to HB2, dissolved. Protesters massed outside the Senate chamber rained down shouts of "Shame!" After a long and frustrating day, the Senate's top Republican Wednesday lashed out at Governor-elect Roy Cooper, blaming the Democrat for the legislator's failure to repeal the bill. Berger said Cooper called Democratic senators and urged them not to support Berger's bill, which have coupled HB2's repeal with a months-long moratorium on city ordinances like the one Charlotte passed and repealed. The Charlotte ordinance allowed transgender people to use the public restrooms of the gender in which they identify. Cooper had lobbied Charlotte council members for repeal, for which they had twice before rejected, saying that in return Republican leaders had promised to repeal HB2 in full. Charlotte repealed the ordinance that led to HB2 on Monday. It voted again Wednesday morning, wiping away all action taken in February, after legislative Republicans said they hadn't rescinded at all. Republicans were upset because they wanted Charlotte to repeal the ordinance that protected transgender people. But what Charlotte did was they made a law where they said that they'll repeal it temporarily, and then if the North Carolina legislator doesn't repeal HB2, they'll put their ordinance back in place. So the Republicans said, "Oh no, that's not good enough, blah blah blah, you need to just completely repeal it." So Charlotte actually did that, and then Republicans say, "Oh, they didn't repeal it, they didn't rescind it," and then they didn't repeal House Bill 2. So that's a big mistake, because Charlotte legislature should have been tough and said, "No, this is a solid way to say we get the ordinance that we want to make sure we get to take care of our citizens. Because we're doing this because you guys aren't doing that in Raleigh, so we're going to do it here. And we're not buckling to some BS that you're pushing so you can flex your power and get the laws you want. This is a solid bill, and we're going to keep it like this." They should have played hardball, but they didn't. So they repealed the bill, and now transgender people don't get any legal protections in Charlotte or for the whole state, because the legislators didn't repeal it. So that's pretty disappointing, but it's just an important story that needed to be talked about. All right, thank you for watching. I love you guys, and have a Merry Christmas and have a happy holidays.